Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today we are talking about a tea that fails. Excuse me, fails. That fails, that does not pass a test, that is not going into the shop, even though it is a tea. As you can see, the beard is gone. The beard is gone because it was enough time. It was enough time. Now, I probably should have shaved a little bit more, but whatever. Um, the beard is gone, and I do not miss the beard. I do not miss it, but but the beard is gone now. Now today, it has been a while since I've done a live stream for various reasons, but today we're going to learn about what happens when a tea fails. When a tea, so I'm a tea sourcer, right? So I've talked about tea sourcing before. Basically, I'm a tea gambler, so I gamble with tea. That's what I do. So I gamble with tea. I just realized there's a beautiful picture on the wall here from one of my boys. I wonder when that is from. I think that's a picture of our cat. So over here, you can see the picture of the cat. I didn't realize that was there. I wonder how many years that's been. Anyways, this tea right here. Actually, we don't need to talk about which tea it is. It's not the most popular tea. It's not everybody's favorite tea. It's a tea that it's a charcoal roasted tea, and it's a Jintren charcoal roasted tea. And if you are a fan of the site and you know the teas, you probably know the tea. But anyways, it's not important. But there's only about a little bit left, and I'm not going to be getting any more in for quite some time. And the reason I'm not getting any more in for quite some time is because I ordered some in. I opened it up, I tasted it, and I went, eh. And we'll talk about what happened. And I'll show you evidence of what happened. Now, let's get these beautiful teas started. Let's get them going. And actually looking at it right now, I can see what the problem is. I can see it just with the dry leaves. And let's see if you guys can see it. You see you can sort of, you can't see it. Anyways, if we were all in person drinking together, I'd be able to easily show you what happened with this tea. But we'll talk about why I got the actually tea in, and then I sent it back. And so I sent back the tea. Now, and we'll talk about why. Now, as you wait for this tea to get going, as you wait for this tea to get started and brew and all of that. So what have I been doing for the last little while? Basically just getting back into the swing of things. I was gone for a month. And so we're just getting back into the swing of things. It's also been, I've been taking care of the kids. This is the summertime, right? Taking care of the kids. And this right now is sort of the low time for tea businesses all over the world, right? So right now is like the lowest of the low time in the sense of sales, in the sense of tea being made, and all those different things. So it's really, really slow right now. And I've just been sort of getting things ready to go, doing a bunch of things to get ready for the fall. Now, this year, I know there's a bunch of people that are waiting for the fall teas. So the fall Pear Mountain, the fall Chilai Mountain, the fall, all those different things. So the fall teas from the high mountains. And this year, because the teas they're actually done from the Chinese calendar, right? So the teas are actually done from the Chinese calendar. They were picked really, really late in the year. Hey, how's it going? They were picked really, really late in the year. So these teas were picked really, really late in the year. So they're all picked around the 20th, unfortunately. Or fortunately, we'll see how they taste. I've sampled the Chilai, and I ordered some of that in, so it should be here soon. But they've had a family emergency, which I hope goes well quickly, and everybody gets back home soon. So I'm still waiting on sort of Jade Mountain and for the fall tea and Pear Mountain for those samples. So just so you guys know, the next subscription box might be a little bit late this month just because everything's been picked slower. Other than that, I am starting to think about where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do for various things. And then this this will be released soon. It's all packed up and ready to go. So the Alishan GABA, I just got in a bunch more. So there'll be a bunch of people that are super excited about that. And I'll release this one on Sunday no matter what. I'm hoping that I'll be able to have those other teas to be released by then as well. I'm drinking all my favorites. The Old Master Dongding. Yes, well, there you go. The Old Master Dongding is a lot of people's favorites. It is the favorite of many people. And it's a really special tea, right? So it's a really quite a special tea. And it is the favorite of many people. And I have not drank in it for a very long time. The reason I don't drink it is because I drink it in the fall time. So I got this huge amounts of teas, and right now, as you can see, we're getting in the fall, right? It's not too bad right now. It's in the fall. We're there. We're fall time, but it's still pretty hot. It's still pretty hot. I'm hoping that my phone doesn't crap out from the heat. Let's get into these teas now. What is going on with this tea? So this is a charcoal roasted tea. It's a Jinchuan, beautiful tea. And I get this tea every single year. Now, this garden does a lot of different teas, and they do a lot of different teas really well. But here's the problem with this tea in particular. They use acacia charcoal. Now, there's nothing wrong with acacia charcoal, but there is something wrong with roasting teas with charcoal if you don't do it all the time. Now, hey, how's it going? The roasting charcoal teas is like a whole separate thing in the tea industry. So if you've got, say, for example, you are very good at oolongs, you can make all the different types of oolongs. You start roasting your teas, you're going to sibai, which basically means you're just going to screw it up. If you can make tea, that does not mean you can charcoal roast tea. And if you can charcoal roast tea, it's almost like your own separate world, right? It's just a separate world. And these guys, they do it with a special kind of charcoal. And so every once in a while, when they make this tea, they leave it too long, or the heat is too strong, and they burn the tea. And what happens when you burn a tea with charcoal roast is it tastes bitter, it tastes bad, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And unfortunately, that's what happened with these guys this year from the springtime tea. So I was selling I bought a bunch of it last year. I was selling last year's spring tea. And I wanted to get this year's spring tea. And alas, but we'll go into why. Now, there is, he's actually quite famous now, I guess. But there's my buddy in Dongding. I haven't seen him for a couple of years, but anyways, my buddy in Dongding. There's a famous tea personality now who bought tea from there, and I haven't even looked at the prices of what he's charging. I'm just like, I don't want to know. Anyways, getting people into the tea world is the point. So good for him. But the point is he did a bunch of these. He did a bunch of the teas, and he is, the charcoal roasting master. He is just the charcoal roasting master. He is better than everybody else. He is just the man. He is literally just the man. And what he does is he roasts tea basically 24 hours a day. He roasts tea in his dreams. So he wakes up, he's got this timer that's every 15 minutes. You're talking to him, you're like, you're drinking tea. He's like, beep, 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 beep. He's like, he doesn't even say anything. He just stands up and walks. And he goes and he opens up all the charcoal roasting things. He checks them. He makes sure the temperature is right. And then he comes back. And he does this every 15 minutes for 12 to 14 hours a day. He never leaves his house. He's always there roasting tea every single day. And that's how you charcoal roast a tea. That's how you do it. Now, lots of other people have tried it. They try it in different ways. They try it doing different things in different ways. And yeah, they try it in different ways and they do it in different places. But if you screw up, you really screw up. If you screw up charcoal roasting a tea, you really screw up. Because when you, okay, give you an example. When you charcoal roasting a tea, you want it to be above 100 degrees because it's this warm sort of, the stuff wafts up off the bottom. It's above 100 degrees, sometimes up to like 120, 130, 140 degrees. And you put your hand on it. It's not like burning hot, but you put the temperature thing in there. That's how hot it is. And what they do is they get the charcoal going, they cover it in ashes, and then it's this radiating heat. Now, when you do electric roasting, it's completely different. You only go to maybe 70 or 80, and it's very intense heat, very sort of heat like that, but it doesn't radiate. You know, it's the toaster oven. It's basically, hey, how's it going? Yes, the best to you and yours. I hope you guys are getting back to school and everything's going well. And so the electric heat is like very intense, whereas the charcoal roast is just wafting up, just like that, wafting up. And if you get the charcoal roast wrong, you get an uneven thing. So what happens is, because it wafts up, the bottom will just burn, turn bright black, just burn to a crisp, bitter nastiness. And then up at the top, it'll be okay. Whereas with the electric roast, basically it's pretty uniform all the way through, right? Because you got the different racks, you got the thing. It's just a toaster oven, so it's very, very uniform all the way through. Especially if you got air blowing through it, right? So the really good roasters now, they have air blowing through. It's a convection oven. That's all it is. It's a toaster oven. It's literally a toaster oven. That's all it is. Like you can take teas and roast them in your toaster oven. You can do that. It is a possibility to do. You can do that. But you cannot charcoal roast them. It's much harder to do. And so what you're looking at right here is a beautiful light to mid roast. And what you do when you pull that off, you get caramel, you get fruit, you get, so like Jintren, when you do it the right way, you get a caramel flavor, right? There's like caramelizes the sugar in there. And this is the one that's on the site right now. I don't even know if I might have, I don't know, maybe 100 grams left. And it's just it's a cheap tea compared to other charcoal roasted teas. And it's just a decent, nice, sort of stomach warming, radiating, nice warm tea. It's got a year on it as well. Well, over a year now, year and a half. But then I got this tea in. And just by looking at the tea liqueur right away, you can see there's a big difference here. Actually, I'm going to take the Instagram and I'm going to see if I can pull it off. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can pull this off with the Instagram here. Let's see, turn it around. And so you can see the tea liqueur. Yes, yeah, you can here. So you can see the tea liqueur between these two. So this is the last year's tea, and this is the one that I just got. And you can see with the tea liqueur, it's much, much darker. It's much, much darker. And sorry for the YouTube folks. Can't see it there. But believe me, there's a big difference between the two. And I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. You trust me. And so what happened is, either they forgot it or they made a mistake or something happened where one layer at the very bottom got burnt to a crisp. So one layer at the very bottom got burnt to a crisp. And when I say burnt to a crisp, let me show you. I was describing what it looks like to my wife the other day using something that I won't mention now, because I'm not angry. I'm not. I totally understand what happened. I buy tea from these guys all the time. They have great tea. I trust them, all that sort of stuff. But when I was ordering this tea, I had an inkling, right? Because usually this tea it was a little bit cheaper than it usually is. And I was like, oh, if it's a little cheaper than it usually is, that means that, something happened. Now take a look at this leaf. All right, so take a look at this leaf. One, it's been sitting in there for I don't know how many minutes, like 10 minutes, and it didn't open up. Two, look at the color. Let's see if I can get it in the color. Right, so look at the color of that. It's black, right? It's just as black as night. And what that means is when you drink this tea, you're getting a blast of burnt. And that's just the way it is. And the flavors that are on top of it that are floating around are really, really nice, right? They're very similar to this, a little bit more caramelized, a little bit more flavor, but underlying there's a bitterness. There's a underlying underneath it. There's a bitterness, and there is it's just not good, right? It's a bitterness, it's an astringency, and it's an uncomfortable burntness, an uncomfortable burnt flavor. And it tastes like charcoal. It tastes like charcoal. And unfortunately, that is a bitterness. Now the first steep, surprisingly, actually, the first steep isn't too bad. Like it's not good, but it's not like it's terrible, right? It's not the best, but it's definitely it's not the worst. Where it gets bad is the second steep, because in the second steep, the subtleness of the when you're releasing teas. Even right now, I'm drinking it. I'm just like, you can see I'm setting up some of this for next, right? So this is the Alishan Gaba. The new stuff from the spring is finally here. I've got it all packed up. I'll release it on Sunday. Anyways, been a while. What are the teas? Yes, it has been a while. I've been sort of enjoying the dog days of summer and, well, enjoying and taking care of my children. Not mutually exclusive, but it's great when they've got space now. But it's been a while. This is last year's tea that I won't mention exactly what it is. It's this year's tea that failed. And so what happens, anyways, the title on the YouTube is What Happens When a Tea Fails the Taste Test, right? So it's a tea. I buy tons of tea from these guys, but, I've just been talking about it. This tea failed. And this tea it's not good enough to bring into the shop. It's not good enough to sell. Everything about it went wrong on the roast. It went wrong on the roast. And then this tea over here is my saving grace. That's the Alishan Gaba, which I absolutely adore. Love the Alishan Gaba. And that's the tea that'll be released. It'll be released, I guess, this weekend. Although I mentioned earlier in the live stream, the fall teas are delayed this year. They usually go by the lunar calendar, and the lunar calendar was later. So it was like the August 20th was when they were picking the fall teas this year. And so I've gotten in a couple samples. I'm hoping to get in a couple more samples soon this week, but it's going to be a while before those teas come in. But I've had this tea for like a week, so I'm just going to release it and then maybe next week do the fall teas, because I know maybe I'll. Anyways, as I was saying before, maybe I'll just wait for this. I don't know if anybody really needs the Alishan Gaba. I'll try. Actually, I think probably not this weekend, but then the weekend after, I'll release all the fall teas and the Gaba teas all together, because I'll have enough time to get all the teas in by then. But the thing is, right now, this is the lowest time period of the year. When I was first starting out in the tea business, it would scare the crap out of me because no orders. But then the next year I was like, no, yeah, it happened the same last year. Like, this is it. This is the slowest time of the year, just right now. And it's not my tea business, it's all the tea businesses. And I'm not saying go order tea. That's not what I'm saying. You're busy. You're getting back, you're coming back, you're getting, what do they say? Getting back up to speed. No. What is it? Come on. Orientated. Come on. I've never worked in an office, but anyways, whatever. You're getting back to speed in the office after your break. Everybody's, getting ready to put on their shorts if you're working in the financial industry. And, so we're getting into it. And I think too, that everybody knows that the next couple months are going to be, what's the best way of describing the next couple months? The most influential couple months in anybody's lives. So the next couple months will be probably the most influential months in anybody's lives ever that's alive today, unless they're like 100 years old and lived through World War II. But that's what we're going into, right? That's what we're going into. And so, it's slow, and I'm not complaining. Getting back to the swing of things, yes, just getting into it right now. And I'm doing inventory and sort of seeing what's going on. I'm actually looking forward this year to I'm looking forward to this, the Alishangaba. But I'm looking forward to this year and the tea shows, because coming in for, what are we at, 10:15? Yes. So they're coming in for their coffee break at the moment. You'll be able to hear them. Oh, just the smell of it. So I haven't had this tea on the site for a couple months. Fruit leather, warm, rich, buttery fruit leather. I mean, it's just Alishangaba. It's just it's so, I can already feel it sort of relaxing me. And anyways, that's this tea right now. What was I going to say? What I'm doing also too, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my oldest to start doing, I'm going to slave labor him. Well, I guess it's not slave labor, because we're doing jade. So I'm going to send him off to the jade polishers with a bag of jade and just be like, polish the jade. And then we'll get it up on the site and we'll start selling the jade. Because we really, we need to sell the jade. I think it'd be a fun project for him. He's getting just old enough right now where he can start doing, he can understand what SEO is and all those different types of things. And, he can start putting things onto social media and stuff like that. We'll start doing that. And so I think that's probably the next couple of weeks. We'll get that website up and running. And, because we have jade, but we're waiting for another big typhoon to come through to get more jade. But anyways, we can go and polish it up. And yeah, this tea will be released probably next week. But if you're really jonesing for Alishangaba, if you really, really, really need it, get in touch. I can send it to you. I don't want to pester people with emails. And so there'll be an email, what's that, like on the 8th, the 8th of September, there'll be an email that goes out for everybody. And such a beautiful tea. So on the 8th, there will be an email that goes out for everybody with this tea, with the fall teas, and all of that. And it'll be 10% off for all of those teas. But again, if you're super jonesing for this tea, then I can hook you up 10% off or whatever for this tea. Okay, that's about what I wanted to cover. Let's see, how hot is this cell phone? It's hot, but hopefully it'll survive. So anybody else have any questions about anything that I've covered so far? What's coming up? The fresh fall time teas are coming up. What else is coming up? So September, I'm going to try and get some Baozong from Pingling, and I'm going to try and get some Dongfeng Mayran, some Eastern Beauty teas, because I don't have those, but they usually do another pick in the fall. So I'm going to try and work hard and get those. And yeah, other than that, I think we are, oh, here they come. So that guy's coming in fast. He's going to go around and he'll land in about probably less than 5 minutes from now. As you can see behind me, the weather has changed. It is now fall. And you can see it on the YouTube. You can sort of see it here. So you can see it there. That's the Instagram. And then on the YouTube, you can see it here. That's all fresh. So that all came in from the earthquake and the typhoon that happened in August. So that's all fresh stuff. And probably in about 18 months from now, if anybody's looking to get some real estate here in Hualien, it'll probably be a pretty good idea. It'll be probably pretty cheap, because right now there are not very many people that are showing up to Hualien. But life goes on, and we're doing okay here in Hualien. Everything's doing fine. The bees. I've got the bees in the front, but I'm going to move one of the bees back over here so I can do live streams and throw the bees over there. You guys can see the bees as well. And yeah, that's about it. So just to recap, the Alishangaba is amazing, beautiful this year, warm, buttery fruit leather as usual. But that tea, I won't mention the name. It's not all that big a deal. It's not the favorite of many. It's a really affordable charcoal roasted tea that's on the site. But this year they screwed up the charcoal roast in the spring. And so I ordered it, got in the tea, but I'm sending it back because they messed it up. And that's not to say that that they're not charcoal roasters, right? We went over, they're not charcoal roasters, right? To be a charcoal roaster is a whole different set of ball of wax. It's very, very different to be a charcoal roaster. And they're not charcoal roasters. And so it didn't quite work for them, but that's okay. That's okay. So anybody have any questions about any of this stuff, let me know. I am going to go and do some inventory and start thinking about the best way to market jade. Do I have any jade pieces around here? Oh, here, I'll just quickly show you some of the jade that we're going to polish up. So oops. These are the smaller pieces of jade. So these are the smaller pieces of jade. And we're going to polish them up. And just to give you an idea what they look like when they're wet. All right, so you can see here, they're quite beautiful when they're wet. It's hard to see. Anyways, doesn't matter. When they're wet, they're absolutely beautiful. Thankfully, I didn't break anything. I dropped a couple pieces of jade there. But that's okay. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching. And we'll see you next live stream.